Welcome to another edition of Money Game Sports. I am Chijoke Eziali, and as usual, I have my partner in crime.
Hello, I'm Shehu Bello.
Alright, Shehu Bello. Today we're not doing it alone. We have an expert guest driver in the house, and his name is none other than
Pedro Peter.
Oh, Pedro Peter, it's good having you. You're always here whenever we need you. Money Game Sports. Remember, you can always subscribe on our YouTube channel and get all information you need firsthand in sports. And we're starting on a very good note, and that is the Under-20 Women's World Cup currently going on. Nigeria so far has won 2 games, 1-0, 1-0. We defeated France and South Korea. Guys, let me just get your views for this one.
Pedro, well, nice one, good one for the team. 6 points. Who would have thought that the team would have qualified amongst one of the first teams to have qualified for the quarterfinals of the Women's Under-20 World Cup? So that's been good. Though play can be better because we've actually had a bit of individual brilliance coming to our rescue. On both occasions, we won both 1-0, 1-0. They were both scored late in the final 10 minutes of each of the game. In the first game against France, Flores scored in the 85th minute, while last night Onyenezude scored in the 83rd minute. So that alone was enough. I thought probably the South Koreans would actually trouble us. They did trouble us, matter of fact, but we were able to just weather the storm and we took our opportunity when it came. A 35-yard pile driver that was way from distance, and that one found the way into the post. And Nigeria is through to the quarterfinals. But the thing is that the teams from the other group that we may have to play, that has the USA, the Netherlands, that's a tough group. But hey, the good thing is that we are through to the quarterfinals. Fine, this is a competition where we've had it good in times past. We've played in the final twice, lost to Germany on both occasions in 2010 and in 2014. In 2010 we had Desire Oparanoze coming through. Then in 2014 we had Aziza Tushwala who came through the ranks. So if we still get to the final, do I doubt? Because I still think play can be better. If we get to the final, I still will not be surprised because we've been there, we've seen it, we've done it before. But the good thing overall is just if we could get 3 to 5 players that will come up from this team and make the transition to the national team, that would be fantastic. That would be
all right, Pedro. Good. Pedro, that's a very good one. On a lighter note, before we think about the quarterfinal games, which we'll definitely analyze much later, I noticed by the stadium where immediately Nigeria scored, they played Buga. Buga is a worldwide anthem right now. And on a lighter note, let's just look at that.
Basically, Nigeria is what we call globalizing. Nigerian music is what is globalizing. We are colonizing the music world, as it were. And it's one of the biggest, of course, Nigerian music is one of our biggest exports, one of our most recognized exports in the world right now, apart from oil. And of course, it is good. Virtually, like they say, music transcends every language, religion, and culture. Everybody dances to a good tune, a good sound, and it's not a surprise that those Nigerian music is actually globalizing, as it were. So it's a good thing.
All right, congratulations to our Falconets. I almost call them Super Falconets right now, but it's all good. We're doing very well, and we're rooting for the girls. Maybe they will win the championship for the very first time. Now we move over to the English Premier League. For most Manchester United fans, it's not a good start. It's not a good start for the Old Trafford team. Ten Hag is really having a rough time at Old Trafford, and again they lost 4-0 in the second game of the season. I will not go to Shehu because he's an Arsenal fan and ready to rub it in. I'll go to Pedro Peters for analysis for this game. What went wrong?
Well, everything that you would think could go wrong just actually went wrong. The thing is that, simple and short. Honestly, we do not know the problem with the team. Of course, we've already talked about, managerial changes have been done over the years. At least in the last 3-4 years, we could see a number of changes, right from David Moyes, Luis Van Gaal, Mourinho, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. In fact, the number of managerial changes is enough to actually take some teams on to go on dynasties. case in point, like your Barcelonas and co, where at least you have a manager that will stay for at least 2-3 seasons. Some will stay for 4, 5, 6 more. But hey, on last weekend on Saturday, I think, everything. I don't know. There's this link. I don't know. This miscommunication between the defense, the goalkeeper, the players. In fact,
I will be fair.
Show's itching to interrupt you. I would love to hear what you will say. Then I'll come back to you.
I will be fair. I will be fair here.
Okay.
Basically, this is what. Fine. It is not fun laughing at Manchester United anymore.
But you were laughing.
But I will still laugh. I will still laugh. But let us look at it this way. I was looking at what Ten Hag is trying to do, and I believe it is too complex to achieve with this current crop of Manchester United players. It is not their game. If I were him, right, and I believe it is what is going to result to in the near future, it should be pragmatic. Move to a back three formation. Play a mid-block and try to hit your opponent on a counter-attack. Work to get results. Fine, you may struggle against top teams, but man, you have enough quality to beat smaller teams in the Premier League, even by playing boring, pragmatic football. Try to play the long game so that then wait for another 2 to 3 transfer windows when you can bring in the kind of players you want to bring in to play the kind of style you want to play. But forcing Ronaldo, Rashford, Fred to play from the back, and of course, let us be frank, Manchester United needs a new goalkeeper if they want to play a modern style of football. De Gea cannot kick the ball to save his life. Cannot play from the back to save his life. He will always be making mistakes. So he is not equipped to play the kind of style Ten Hag wants to play, the kind of dominant football Ten Hag wants to bring to Old Trafford, the kind of exciting football that we know he can bring to Old Trafford. He is not equipped to do it. Most of these guys are shockingly, it will shock most people. Harry Maguire can actually do it. Harry Maguire is actually very good at kicking the ball out with his feet. But 2 things are involved. The man is massively out of form, number 1. Number 2, the guy is totally down on confidence. So he's not doing his best. Maguire is not a trash defender. But he hasn't been playing, and he hasn't been playing with the kind of confidence that actually suits him. The best thing they can do for him is take up the pressure of captain from him, bench him for a while, bring in Varane, let him play a little bit. Then you start introducing him through the cup games. Forget about World Cup. For Christ's sake, forget about World Cup. Bring it, introduce him into the cup games. Let him play smaller teams in the cup game. Build his confidence from there. Then you will now see what will happen.
Okay, very, very good point. I know Pedro was trying to make a point before, but before you make that point, or you make the point alongside this question I'm going to ask you on Ten Hag, he did so well with Ajax, and he revolutionized football in his own way. And when he was with 20, he did a massive job. And coming to Manchester United, we expected high energy football, good press, and the players to be expressive and win games. But they did that in pre-season, and they're coming into the season, and they're playing as if they are already fatigued. Where's the missing link here?
Well, the myriad of problems at Old Trafford, I do not think Erik ten Hag envisaged that you have these large chunks of problems, especially when the new season commenced. You mentioned about United doing pretty well in pre-season, but hey, the world has just explained itself pre-season. There is no form of or iota of pressure. Players are trying to
express themselves.
Yeah, players could express themselves, trying to carve out new contracts for themselves or new deals in case if they move destinations. But now the season has begun. Martial he hasn't actually kicked the ball for the team this season. There is the Ronaldo issue a bit at the club. I do not think that is one of the issues bothering the team, because Ronaldo, he did try his best, especially when he came on in the first game against Brighton, and also the second game which he started fully against Brentford. We could all see that this is a man of quality. He is not just a legend for nothing. He did do his best, but definitely there was no way he could keep the ball if Brentford could be the masters of the press. Something that we thought that Erik ten Hag and his players would be the ones to orchestrate. It was even the Brentford guys that were actually dispossessing United players off the ball and everything.
What people don't understand is introducing press to a team is a very, very technical and difficult thing. I remember Jurgen Klopp couldn't do it until nearly after 2 years. He came to Liverpool.
He knew he didn't have the players.
He didn't have the players.
Not your Nathaniel Klein, Mamadou Sakho.
Exactly.
They can't play that kind of
style. So you cannot come and start introducing press to players that have not been pressing before. It is impossible.
And the skill set of those players, they have to match it because
they have to match it.
Okay,
so are you guys saying they should give Ten Hag time?
No, definitely. Now we all knew this, that if it were to work, he should get the time, number one. Now, of course, the players that he will get will take a long time.
For instance,
you need 5-6 windows to probably change 70% of that squad. I mentioned 5 transfer windows. Then, of course, a lot of money will have to go down to support him.
Exactly.
More than half a billion would have actually go through this process of these 5 different transfer windows. And of course, United keep on churning out the money, the funds. But it's just, but be that as it may, even though that Ten Hag needs time, he has to also deliver. Now check for Jurgen Klopp. Everybody says, oh, it took him 4-5 years to win his first. The telltale signs were there. He came in midway into the first season, midway. And he took the team to 2 cup finals, the Carabao Cup and the Europa League, where they lost to Sevilla, Unai Emery. Then in his first full season, they cracked the Champions League. They cracked it. Then the second full season, they got to the Champions League finals. Now you could see progress. When he got there, nobody that Liverpool team was a shadow of itself. Now nobody expected him to win the league in his first, second, or even third year. Of course, now it took him time to change the squad and all that. Now the fourth season that he was there, he won the Champions League. That opened the floodgates to other trophies that came thereafter. The Super Cup, the Club World Cup. The following season, the Champions League. The Premier League. Now, last season he got the 2 domestic cups, the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup. He has also started this season well, winning the Community Shield. So who says this guy will always be the limit? Now, when we are talking about who will battle for trophies, both at on the home front and on the continental ground, Liverpool will actually be, of course, will always be one of the favourites to get the job or be one.
Basically, Ten Hag needs time at Manchester United. You've said for
needs time, and also he has to adapt a little bit with what he has now. He doesn't have to.
Said he should play pragmatic football with what he has.
Most coaches will go to Ajax.
3-5 or 3-4-3, 3-4-3.
Okay, did you guys notice against Brentford he already took out Martinez at halftime, and he stabilized. Short also went, and he stabilized the defense. And that's progress already, because we talked about adapting and for him to change his team constantly and try to see the best. So we just leave that conversation there. Let the fans continue on our comment section on Facebook, and we'll go to Manchester City, Bournemouth. It was 4-0, no goals for Erling Haaland, but he got an assist.
Well, for those managers who actually had him in their fantasy Premier League squads, well, sorry about that, but hey, an assist is better than just the normal 2 points. But I'm sure we'll all be expecting. We all expected more from him. But City, of course, since the Premier League era, since Bournemouth came up through the ranks and they made their debut in the Premier League, they've never beaten Manchester City. So we expected that run to continue. I think there were about 11 matches without a win against City. So it's as expected. City won that one, and they won convincingly. Of course, the architect of the destruction being Kevin De Bruyne. Phil Foden too, fantastic. Also made a case for himself as to why he was nominated for some of the categories in the 2022 Ballon d'Or award nominations. So he has shown that the team is actually in good hands. Foden is actually the future of that team, and of course, even when KDB steps out of the scene, there are players who would actually continue the business.
It's all good. Manchester City will also be right up there at the end of the season. And another team also trying to crack that top 2 is Tottenham Hotspur. It was a feisty London derby, and they went to Stamford Bridge. They've not won there in a while. But they got a 2-2 scoreline. Shehu Bello, you support in the North London team. So, how did you see that game? I want you to talk about it.
The game can be divided into two different sections. First, the controversy and the tactical battle on the field. This is a game that saw four different formation changes. Initially, Thomas Tuchel lined up in a 4-2-2-2 formation to overcrowd and dominate Tottenham's 3-4-3 formation.
That sounds familiar with Ragnick's formation.
Yeah, 4-2-2-2.
Okay.
Then we noticed that Antonio Conte did something he doesn't normally do. He changed to a 4-man defense and changed to a 4-4-2 formation to counter Thomas Tuchel's countering his formation. Only for Thomas Tuchel to move back to a 3-4-3 formation. It was a tactical battle on the field. But you now look at the coaches also, of course, doing the battle physically. The handshake controversy and everything. But you now have to look at the referee. The first thing is that both of Spurs' goals shouldn't have stood.
So you believe there was a foul somewhere?
There was a foul.
And there was an offside call.
There was an offside call somewhere. No, I mean, if you drag somebody by the hair and the VAR said that it is normal, then what are they doing? And it is quite normal. People have been saying this. A lot of pundits have been saying that, look, Spurs get a lot of calls, get away with a lot of things. I believe Tottenham is the darling team of the English media, and for some reason they are just hyping the club bigger than it usually
but
is.
it may be coincidence also.
It is not, but we've seen Harry Kane set people up to fall and break their neck, and they don't give him yellow card. They get away with a lot of atrocities, and it is one of the reasons why, of course, this man was angry. Thomas Tuchel was angry. Then Anthony Taylor, the coach, the referee, is known to have been, of course, to Chelsea fans. We always say that the man doesn't really support them. He always officiate, give them controversial calls and everything. So it was actually properly set up for a controversial ending.
All right, one game without controversies is the Arsenal-Leicester game. He ended 4-2. Gabriel Jesus made his mark.
Yeah, we believe in Jesus.
And you're happy. All right, I'm really tempted not to let you talk about this, but go ahead. Just give us your take on the game.
Now, basically, what I will say about that game is that we are seeing the coming of age of Arteta's principles at Arsenal. Like we said when we're talking about Manchester United, one of the problems United had is that there is no clear plan of what they want to do.
It's opposite as Arsenal. It's opposite as Arsenal right now.
It is opposite as Arsenal because we all know what they want to do.
I deliberately did that because I know you want to rub it in.
We all know what they wanted to do. But it is actually the front three at Arsenal is looking pretty deadly. I mean the combination of Bukayo Saka.
Sorry, Arsenal fans, I just had to laugh to that.
Bukayo Saka, Gabriel Jesus, and Martinelli is looking pretty, very, very, very promising. Okay. Of course, despite the fact that he scored an own goal, Saliba is looking the part as a defender, and of course, the introduction of Zinchenko has brought in much technical stability to the defense and midfield of Arsenal. Yeah, so
Man City reject, right?
You say Man City reject? They are probably regretting not selling him to Arsenal now because they've not gotten a very, very cogent replacement.
City will always find a way. They have Cancelo, and they just bought a new player.
Martinez.
No, in Gomez. There's a
Gomez from
the Belgian league.
Yeah.
Quickly, in the Premier League also, there's some Nigerian players also made their mark. In Nottingham Forest, Taiwo Awoni scored. I will not talk about the record. Pedro Peters is here to give us the lowdown on that. And Southampton also, another Nigerian at the club, scored a goal in the 2-2 draw against Leeds United.
Oh yes, I'll start with the latter. Southampton against the Leeds United at St. Mary's. After 90 minutes, 2-2. But what will be heartwarming for Southampton faithful and also for Nigerians by extension is the fact that Southampton actually came from 2 goals down to actually get a point from that game 2-2. And not just that, Joe Aribo, their summer signing from Scottish Giants, Rangers, he actually started to come back for them. He pulled one back. He was actually a second half substitute to even begin with. So to actually find his mojo that early and registering his first guy, I believe he will soon become a fan favorite. Then when it comes, then in the second fixture against Nottingham Forest, rather, who are actually back in the big time in 23 plus years.
Wow.
Yeah. They actually had cause to celebrate, cause to smile, because in fact that game they had everything riding for them, luck, good performances and all that, but everything just worked out well for them. Though Nottingham Forest have been the butt of jokes of recent because of the number of players
signings. Exactly.
We hear they are almost on the verge of completing a move for Neil Mopai of Brighton and Hove Albion.
Exactly.
That will make
just
it
signed
15th signing.
And they just signed a Nigerian also.
Thank you, Emmanuel Dennis, for around £20 million. I'm like, whoa. Wow. With these guys in attack, Emmanuel Dennis, Nemope, and of course Taiwan Wuni, I do not think they should go on relegation. If they go on relegation, that would be disaster. And of course, don't forget there's a certain Jesse Lingard in attack too for that same team. So they shouldn't
they are
go.
signing Osenawa.
Yeah, they are also, they shouldn't go on relegation. I expect them to make a
but
top
Queen's Park Rangers also made signings like this and went on relegation.
Well, I'll put it as a misplaced signings, because they were just, let us sign superstars, not just efficient guys who will do the job. Now looking at these guys, they are not like superstars per se, but players that can do the job and grafters to do the work for you and get the job done. Keep out those years. They had the likes of Djibril Cissé, then this Park Ji-sung. Yeah, so those are superstars from top club sides. So you see that now they are getting more players that who actually know the system and just grind out the results.
In youth.
Like I said, they were fortunate, and of course Nigerians by extension will be pleased with Taiwo Awoniyi's performance. He got them the only goal. That was our first goal in the Premier League since May 1999. So that is 23 years.
Wow.
So many positives to take from that game for Nottingham Forest. So for the fact that Declan Rice missed the penalty for West Ham shows that luck, Mother Nature was on their side on the day.
Nice one. We'll be back shortly. Let's take a short break. We'll be back for the second half of the show. All right, welcome back to Money Game Sports. As remain Chijoke Eziali, and straight ahead we're going to the La Liga. La Liga begins with Barcelona playing 0-0 with Rayo Vallecano, a team I've grown to love. Celta Vigo 2-2 with Espanyol. Almeria 1-2 loss to Real Madrid. Real Valladolid also at home to Chukwueze's Villarreal. For me, Villarreal is a dark horse in La Liga. So Bello, looking at Barcelona, they drew goalless. Is that a disappointment for you?
Yes, I was disappointed, not just with the result, but the way Barcelona played their football.
But they had a red card though.
That was late in the game. That was far. I mean, you're talking about something in the around the 80th minute or so. Yeah, that was Busquets, and that was his second yellow card. And the funny thing is, he got his first yellow card 10 minutes before he got the second yellow card. So it didn't really affect the outcome of the game that much. What I saw at Barcelona was the fact that the passing was a bit laboured. They were a bit too slow to build up play from the back to the front. Of course, Valladolid,
Rayo
Vallecano, I'm sorry, played a deep line. They tried to hit them on counter-attack, and they actually scored a goal that was chopped off by VAR. Yeah,
they were lucky.
They were lucky. Radamel Falcao actually scored a goal that was chopped off by VAR in the last minute of the game, towards the last minute of the game. But what I didn't really like is Barcelona are mortgaging their future for current results, and these guys are not playing as if it is an urgent thing. I was expecting sharp, precise passes. I mean, deadly attack with the kind of the caliber of players that they have with them. But they build up very slowly. They build up quite laboredly, and they gave their opponent the time to reorganize themselves at the defense. And of course, with the caliber of players that they have, people that can break through lines and everything, they weren't breaking lines easily. They weren't taking players on. They were just passing through and depending on crosses and every other. It was pretty much shambolic as far as I'm concerned. I was really disappointed with the Barcelona performance that day.
Wow. Raul Vallecano just registered Diego Costa, the former Chelsea striker, strikers, so they'll be having Radamel Falcao and Diego Costa in that particular team. And talking about strikers, one striker that will soon be on the move to La Liga, another La Liga side is Sadiq Umar. Sadiq Umar played for Almeria yesterday as they lost 1-2 to Real Madrid. Pedro Peters, did you see the Nigerian play? Were you satisfied? Is he worth £30 million? Is he that kind of striker that will strike fears into the minds of defenders?
Well, probably one of his attributes is the height. So, but whether he makes use of it is still left to be seen.
Yeah.
But hey, he's still a player that actually knows his way around Europe and some of the modest teams, having played for a good number of some teams. And last night, he was decent on the day. He was decent, though all attention turned to a certain Laji Ramazani, who actually on his debut scored for Almeria as early as in the 6th minute. I believe we were all thinking, would we have a shock result on our hands? But hey, Real Madrid, they weathered the storm even before the close of the first half. So they only went back, recalibrated during the interval, and came back storming like who knows what.
Yeah, even that first half, they had 16 shots on goal.
Yes,
without success. They really came back.
Yeah, so in the second half, it was no surprise that Don Carlo made a few changes. And of course,
I love the way you call Don Carlo, like he has ended.
Yeah, he is. And everything just worked. Of course, they had been knocking on the door in the first half. They actually pinned Almeria in their own half. So it wasn't a surprise to see Lucas Vazquez getting the equalizer, though a bit fortuitously, I must say, after Benzema's effort was blocked. Of course, the assist coming from Vinicius Junior, and of course, Jude just had to just poke it into the net. The second goal was the one that was wow, it was so lovely because the super sub David Alaba, who just got onto the pitch, his first touch was a free kick, a direct free kick, which resulted in the winning goal. And of course, when you have the ball, you are pressing your opponent. Even if you lead a goal to nil, you are so confident that 3 points is yours because you are the one in control, dictating everything, how the game should pan out.
Exactly.
So they just solve the game. So it's nice to see Madrid win on the opening day, opening their account for the season with 3 points.
Yeah.
That is just one of those things that puts you up, that gives you that go ahead. A quick fire start, because if you can get your first 5, 7, 10 games off the way, because definitely tough times will come. There are times where you labor for points. Even when you do play well, points will be hard to locate you. So these are the times whereby you just have to, by hook or crook, get the job done, especially now that the season is quite early. So they've actually laid down the marker.
All right, from one champion to another champion. This time we're going to the Serie A, where we talk about AC Milan. AC Milan kicked off their campaign with a 4-2 win over Udinese. Remember, Udinese is about to sell promising left back Udoji, who is moving to Tottenham Hotspur, and he'll be sent back to the club on a season-long loan. Lazio also won 2-1 against Bologna. They had to come from behind to win that game. Lecce also lost at home to Inter Milan with Romelu Lukaku, the returning Giant striker. Roma also won their game a goal to nil. We'll just leave you to do a preview for these games.
Well, the top teams all had victories. They all had something to smile about. Defending champions, they got their campaign up and running. 4-2 win at the San Siro, which was actually commendable. I expected them to win. The Inter Milan, well, the result would suggest that they struggled. Yes, they did struggle, and but they managed to get the 3 points, get the job done, which is the most important thing. 2-1, it ended. One funny thing about the scoreline was that Inter Milan's 2 goals came very early and very late. Lukaku scored after about 81 seconds. That was just under 2 minutes. He scored in what was his second stint back at the club. He's on loan from parents' club Chelsea. He got them the opening goal. Lecce equalized. Then there's a Dumfries, the right back whom the top clubs in England have been chasing, Chelsea and the likes. He scored in the 95th minute to help Inter Milan bag all 3 points. So nice to see them. As for AS Roma, a first half goal by Brian Cristante was just enough to see them get all 3 points against Salernitana away. So, of course, we expect Roma to get the job done. I remember last season they won their first 4 games. In fact, their first 5 games they did not lose. They drew 4 and they won 4 rather and drew 1. So they've actually started very well. Then for the likes of Lazio, and of course this was a bad temper day because it was littered with red cards for both teams, Lazio and Bologna. But hey, Sarri came out on top, 2-1 it ended. Then Cremonese, newly promoted Cremonese, they lost away at the Stadio Friuli to Fiorentina. Yeah, 3-2 it ended. Twice Cremonese had to come from behind. A certain David Okereke actually made the scores 1-1 after Fiorentina had taken an early lead. But all that changed when Cremonese actually did themselves in. They scored an own goal late on to help Fiorentina secure all 3 points in that encounter. And of course, the lineup of round match day 1 will conclude when Hellas Verona welcome SS Napoli, while the old lady of Turin, Juventus, will take on the likes of they will take on Sassuolo in the other game in Serie A. So that will complete the lineup of games for match day 1 in the Italian Serie A.
Whoa, right, great analysis, great one there, Pedro Peters. Thanks for the roundup, and straight we'll go to Do You Know segment. And for this week, we have an interesting one. Joe Bello is about to blow our minds once again.
Well, in our section, in our Do You Know section, in this episode, we'll be looking at, of course, since this is money game sports, we'll be looking at football and the money involved. Now, football is the biggest sport in the world, quite all right. Everybody knows that. Nobody is disputing it. However, of course, if you are going to look at football, when you are categorizing it in spheres of human endeavor, you are going to categorize it along the entertainment category. You understand? And in that area, football is actually not living up to its potential. Do you know that all the football leagues in the world put together are actually worth $33 billion? Just $33 billion. In comparison to Disney, for instance, now Disney is worth well over $300 billion. Now, you should also look at population of people that actually participate, watch or enjoy football around the world. Now, football have a reported 3 billion people tuning into the game on a regular basis. Compare that to Facebook, for instance, that have just about 2 billion people on the app. Now, football is bringing in 33 billion. Facebook is bringing in well over $250 billion a year. Then, if you now look at another top earner like Apple, for instance, now they have just under 1 billion people using Apple products around the world, right? Apple is making well over $500 billion per year, about $500 billion per year, and football is still managing just about 300 billion. So there is still a long way to go for football when it comes to actually living up to its potential. There is a long way to go, and we are saying that players are earning too much, but as far as I'm concerned, by the time football starts living up to its potential, starts earning what it's supposed to earn, they can actually afford to play players even higher than what they are earning today. So we are only scratching the surface of the potential of the biggest sport in the world as it stands currently. Wow. So that's our segment for this week.
Wow. I always wait for the Do You Know segment when it comes to money game sports, because this is actually mind-blowing. Imagine footballers that are earning so much already and they've not even scratched their potentials. Wow. So it's all money, it's all football, it's all games, and this week we might not be able to bring you our Star G segment. We'll leave that for next week. We'll come your way because we just have to run out of the studio. And guys, I'll just have final words from the guys. First I'll go to Pedro, then Shehu.
Well, thank you for having me. Until next time, see you.
All right.
Yeah, please subscribe. The subscription is free. You could just click on the subscribe, that red button. Just click on it. That's subscribe. It's free. They won't charge you for anything, and you will have access to our products every time we post it there. And of course, when you enable notification, you'll be able to get the alerts whenever we post new videos. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you for supporting Money Game Sports, and until we see you again, it's Aridebachi.